Mob Psycho 100, Episode 5, Ochimusha, Psychic Powers and Me. Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? Famincho here, back at it once again with another Mob Psycho 100 review, talking about Episode 5, and oh boy, what a fantastic episode this one was. I gotta say, probably not the best episode yet, but I think it's probably my favorite. I think this is my favorite episode yet. One of my favorite parts about this episode was just the amount of depth and emotion they were able to inject in this huge fight scene. I mean, calling back on that relationship between Ritsu and Shigeo, having that flashback scene there where these high schoolers are picking on them, Shigeo stands up for his brother and himself. Having that scene there was really emotional, made me tear up a little bit, I'm not even gonna lie. And plus the humor as well. I mean, when his hair gets chopped off, I mean, being able to have humor and character depth and emotion and a great action set piece all in the same episode is just a fantastic feat on itself. It really is. I thought that was just great. And the pacing, too, of this episode is really, really good. So the episode starts, picks up literally exactly where we left off from last week. We have these two characters. We have Shigeo, we have Teruki just standing there, looking like they're about to clash, but just Mob doesn't want to have it. He doesn't want to use his psychic abilities against this guy. And Teru, he's actually kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting him to go like completely crazy in this episode. He's a straight up madman. He believes that people with psychic abilities are basically the apex predator. They should dominate the world. And Mob disagrees with that. He believes that these psychic abilities are to protect people from apparitions and use them to protect people. That's what they're for. But this is, both of these ideologies don't really work together. So to me, that is really what this fight is about. It's not necessarily about the psychic abilities being thrown back and forth. It's not about the muscle being thrown back and forth. It is the ideologies between the two characters. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic in this episode. Then we have Dimple kind of standing up for Mob because Mob's being pushed around a bit. He's not using his psychic abilities. So then we have Dimple jumping in the fight, using like a more fuller form, similar to what we saw in the episode with Dimple, with the, you know, the LOL cult or whatever. You see him, he has a full-bodied form, and he's just taken out immediately. Now, I'm not sure if he's dead. I hope he's not dead. I don't think Mob does either. That was actually kind of sad to see him go. I didn't expect him to go. I was expecting him to be like a full-on main character for a while. I'm guessing that they're going to bring him back somehow. I don't think he's dead. There's no way that they killed off Dimple just yet. I mean, he's a funny guy. Seeing all those kind of like, there was like flashback scenes once when he was like taken out. There was all these flashback scenes. They were really funny. Some of these scenes were just adding up. They were really cool. And they work. And it makes it kind of sad to see him go. I didn't know that him and Shigeo had that kind of, I don't know if it's a good relationship. I really don't know, because I know that Dimple had interior motives, but I believe that Shigeo was pretty sad about it because he was there for him. He was the only one that was just like always by his side, at least. So I believe that he meant a lot to him. So that's pretty sad to see him go. I hope that they somehow bring him back. You see at the end of the episode, you see Mob kind of looking around trying to find Dimple, and hopefully he can find him in the next episode. I don't know what's going to happen with Dimple. I don't know what his fate is going to be. So anyway, you see this fight, it's really picking up. You see Teru pushing him into the school. They're fighting in the school. They're just tearing stuff up. And again, you have this ideology going back and forth. Teru is, again, absolutely crazy. He pulls out these knives. He charges them forward, uses his telekinesis. He's trying not to necessarily kill Mob. He doesn't want to do that, but he just wants to get him to use his powers, get him to fight back, and Mob just isn't having it. Again, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. That's not his ideology. That is not what he stands for. Gets these knives. Mob pushes them back, and again, it cuts his hair off. I thought that was absolutely funny. I love how it took them a little while to reveal what exactly happened. I was like, did they cut his hair off? Did they cut his hair off? Oh boy, yep, they cut his hair off. That was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was hilarious, and I was wondering why this episode was called Ochimusha. I was like, what is this about? Like, what are they doing? Samurai? Like, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I thought that was really funny. Then again, we get this flashback scene between Mob and his brother Ritsu, these high schoolers taking their New Year's money away, and it's a really emotional scene because you see that he didn't want to use his his powers. He didn't want to use his psychic ability there, but he was forced to, similar to what is happening in this fight scene. It's like a good dynamic between these two scenes. I really like that. You see Teru just choking him out, and I thought that was just crazy. I did not think that Teru was going to go that crazy on this episode. I really wasn't expecting that. And I'm not sure if Mob died or passed out. I'm not sure, but then something awakened inside of him, and this is the really interesting part about this episode. Something awakened inside of him. And again, this is similar to what we saw in the first episode, the very first scene when he's fighting all these huge apparitions. He's in this strange form. He has like darkness all around him. There's really like hard, highly stylized drawing, like writing on him, and his hair's kind of all over the place, and he's just crazy powerful, pushes them back. Literally the entire school practically falls apart and gets thrown up into the sky. Very beautiful animation from Studio Bones once again, just seeing all these things floating. His clothes get ripped off. Teru's clothes are just completely ripped off. He's naked. He's flying through the air. There's rocks and just rubble and debris just flying all over the place. There's a tree floating in the sky over the storm that was already present. So that was just fantastic. Again, Bones, you're doing good work. You're doing good work. But this is really interesting. This is an interesting. So I don't think it has anything to do with his emotional abilities. I don't think this has something or anything to do with that percentage, because we saw the percentage going up, and it was at around 90, I believe, before he was choked out. It was at like 91, and then it just went away. Like, it kind of just faded, and then supposedly he was dead, and he was just walking away. He's like, Teru was like, I can't believe I just killed this guy. And then there's a narrator talking like blah, 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 and then it's like, so he thinks. Then Mob gets back up again. He's in this crazy form, and then we see him do all this stuff. And then after he does all that, after all these things are in the air and he's there, it's raining, he's crying, and then you see his emotional meter go back up to 99 to 100, and then he finally has sadness when everything is falling down. So I don't think that crazy form with the hair spiked up, I don't think that has anything to do with his emotional abilities whatsoever. I think that it's a completely different power. I think that he has some kind of spirit, maybe a demon inside of him that is protecting him, that is keeping him alive, because when he's in danger, when he feels that he's in danger, when this spirit, I'm not quite sure yet, felt that he was being choked out, that he was literally dying, it had to step in and protect him. I think that is something a little bit different than his emotional abilities. It has to be, because it's not consistent with what his abilities, what's been shown off in the series so far, because we've seen rage, we've seen sadness now, and that's nothing like that. Like, that was insane. I don't know, maybe that's like a whole nother level of his psychic ability, or maybe that is something else. And another little part in this episode that kind of goes forward on that theory is when Ritsu's talking about that scene when Mob is apologizing, like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like overdo it on my powers, I didn't mean to hurt those people, and he's trying to apologize. And I love that scene where he's like, oh, you mean that time on that road trip when you threw up inside my hoodie? I thought that was really funny. I was like, no, but I am sorry for that too. And then we see Ritsu going back into like the living room. He's like watching TV. You see that these powers are being, like, the news is actually capturing what's going on. You see all this stuff flying, the debris in the air. I thought that's really interesting. I think that they might do something with that in the next episode, because now the general public kind of knows what's going on with these psychic abilities. Maybe it kind of starts becoming a problem. Maybe the government starts getting involved. I don't know if they're going to go that route. But then you see Ritsu. He's kind of thinking back on that scene, and he says to himself, that wasn't Shigeo. What I saw that day, that wasn't Shigeo fighting those people. That was something else. And we see when he's being pushed back against the wall, he hits his head, so maybe he's knocked unconscious, and maybe something else takes over and wipes out those guys, because there was like straight up blood everywhere. Like, there was blood all over the place. These kids were just like on the ground. I don't think that Mob as a little kid would go that far, so I'm guessing that, again, that was something inside of him that was trying to protect him. I think that there's some kind of spirit, some kind of apparition, or maybe it's just his psychic abilities. Maybe when he's unconscious, it just has some other type of over-the-top ability that's nothing like anything else. So I don't really know. Don't spoil me in the comments below. I do kind of want to know. Just kind of hint at it a little bit. Don't full-on spoil me, because I am interested to see how that ends up being shown off later on in the series or in the manga. So that's really, really cool. All in all, just an absolute fantastic episode. I think I'm going to give this one a straight up 9 out of 10. The animation was great. Kenji Kawai putting in work with that soundtrack once again. I love this soundtrack so much. I'm going to straight up download this as soon as it becomes available, because it's so eclectic and it's so mysterious, and then it starts swelling when the scenes get a little more emotional, and it really just adds to the series. It really adds to these scenes, and it makes them work even better than they already do without the soundtrack. So fantastic Kenji Kawai on that. Yep, another great episode of Mob Psycho 100. As I said in the previous review, I think that we're at that point where it's safe to say that this is going to be a pretty good series throughout. I have not really been disappointed by any of these episodes so far. All of them have served a really good purpose of telling a good story, so just fantastic, absolutely fantastic, a 9 out of 10. Comment below, let me know what you think of episode 5 of Mob Psycho 100. Let me know what you think of Teruki. It's going to be interesting to see his development further on. I'm not sure what kind of role he's going to play throughout the series. He's like, I don't know if he's going to be a good guy now. If he's like, I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I loved when the other people awakened, the other Vinegar School guys, the other part of the Shadow Gang or whatever. When they awakened, they were like, "What's going on here? Oh my God, he's being punished or something." Like that was what? Like that was really funny. I really like that. But yeah, let me know what you think of Teru. Where do you think his direction is going to be going? Let me know what you think of that weird psychic ability that Mob has been using when he's passed out. I mean, we saw it in the beginning of the series. We saw it right now, and then maybe we saw it when those high schoolers were picking on his brother. I think that maybe we saw something there. Maybe something's not adding up. I don't know. Comment below and let me know what you think. Hit that like button. Please be sure to hit that like button. It lets me know that I can keep doing these reviews. And it puts a smile on my face as well. And please be sure to subscribe for a Mob Psycho 100 review every single week, every single episode. And video game content, anime, manga videos, and plus, everything in between. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at FuMinShow1 to get updates on this channel. And I just post a lot of random stuff there as well. It's a good way to get in touch with me, a good way to talk to me if you have any questions or any video suggestions. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Super excited for next episode. This was another great installment in the Mob Psycho 100 series. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.